Maybe I shouldn't get one that sets up so fast next time, because it is really a pain in my ass, I'll tell you what. All right, guys, so welcome to our next installment of Wanderlust and furthering the rebuild on the RX-7. What I have here in front of me are a couple of parts that need to be repaired, and I'm going to show you how I am going to tackle it. Now, by no means am I an expert, but I've read a lot of tutorials, looked at a couple things, and there's some guys that have been in the industry for a long time that do like custom interior pieces, and took some of their ideas and products that they're using, and that's what we're going to use today. So what are we repairing, you might ask? Well, if you're an RX-7 owner, or if you don't own an RX-7 and you want to buy one, their interiors suck. There's no other thing to say about it other than the plastic that's inside of them crumbles and deteriorates over the years. So we have that problem. And the other problem is well, it's not so much a problem, but I want to run an IQ3 dash, which is what I have right here. It's all taped up because we're going to be making a bezel for it, so we can mold it into my gauge cluster. So I've already done some work in creating this ABS plastic piece to fill the holes. That was quite easy. I bought some ABS plastic pieces on Amazon. This stuff is 1/8 of an inch thick, and I also have a ton extra for bracing other pieces that I have and that are kind of brittle. But for the other stuff, we are filling in things that are no longer needed. We had things like the HVAC control, hazard lights, all that kind of stuff. The car's running a full painless wiring harness. I don't really need any of these things anymore, so I figured I would just go ahead and delete them. And then in the future, I'll probably run like an iPad mini or something like that with a Bluetooth amplifier that's designed for like a UTV, like a side-by-side in the car for some tunes. But yeah, so we're gonna fill this in a little bit more. It's kind of deep, right? I didn't get it all the way filled up last time whenever I did it. So that's that piece. The other piece is the infamous gauge hood. Now granted, this one was a pristine gauge hood, but while it was sitting in a very safe spot in my toolbox on top of a pillow, something happened to it. Something fell on top of it and it cracked it. So I got this huge crack that runs along the full length of it. But here's the nice thing, if you look, it's actually keyed. It keyed itself really well. So I can piece it together, and I have tape that's basically holding it in the shape that I need. And then we're gonna plastic weld the bottom. That's gonna be the first step. Once we kind of have it being held together the way I want it to be done, I'm going to channel out and with a Dremel and basically make like a little V-shaped valley so we get more contact. And then once we do the entire inside, we'll do the exact same thing on the top portion, V that out, and then plastic weld it, panel bond it, whatever you want to call it, and then sand it smooth and paint it. So whenever you're working with this speed grip from Norton, it's always best to have gloves on, right? You don't want this stuff on your skin. It is a urethane adhesive. It will take forever to get off. And I'm not about that life. So we're gonna go ahead and get our gloves on and get the gun all set up. So this stuff's kind of interesting. You have this little gun, flip up the top, and you can push The plunger's all the way back. Slide this bad boy in, close the top, good to go. Do a quarter turn for this cap. And now we're ready. So before we get that started, I'm gonna do one quick wipe with a alcohol swab to get everything nice and clean, ready to get bonded. Yeah, I was doing a woodworking project in my garage for a couple of months where we were doing the flooring in our house. So it's kind of a mess. There's tons of dust everywhere, but we should be good. This stuff is not inexpensive. You know, I view for the shifting console or shifter console and also the gauge or the HVAC panel, a single tube of this stuff, the larger one, the 200 milliliters is about $50. So it's not cheap. If it's something that you want to kind of create like a super seamless OEM look, it's worth it in the end, but it is expensive. So first, couple of drops. Here we go. All right, note to self, I have to work faster. For the amount of stuff that I squeezed out, was probably just about a quarter of the material. So if I only have 4 nozzles and 2 of these guys, and I barely got this thing done, I need to make sure I have everything ready to get bonded as soon as possible. Right, like it all needs to happen simultaneously, like synchronized swimming or something, because I didn't realize it was gonna clog up the nozzle that quickly. I was not prepared for that one bit. Let me cut to a time-lapse montage of me heating this thing up, getting it ready, and laying everything out for the next glue up. So, got it all kind of squared up. The gap is no longer as big as it was before. It's not flaring out on the sides. There's that guy. handy dandy shoebox. The reason why I need the shoebox is the weight of this thing just sitting like this is actually causing this side to fall off and not stay where I need it to stay. So I went and grabbed this shoebox to make sure everything stays nice and tight. And I had this brilliant idea of I already have tape along the joints doing like a, something that like carpenters do where they use tape to kind of hold. Tape just ripped on the corner. I've seen them do it with like boxes or like picture frames where they use the tape to act as like a clamp. So I'm gonna give that a shot. We're on a nice big piece. So I want this as tight as possible so that we get the same line that we're supposed to have, so it's flawless. Just have to remember 45 seconds on the clock to get everything done in one fell swoop if I want it to look good. So I got 3 things I gotta do. Let's try and knock it out. Maybe I shouldn't get one that sets up so fast next time, because it is really a pain in my ass, I'll tell you what. Everything ready? I think so. All right. Shot number 2. All right, guys, so we just finished with the pieces, took them outside into the garage to sand them. Let me show you what we got. So if you remember, this is the HVAC panel. We filled everything in. There's still some divots, don't worry though. You know, we're just gonna take some skim coat, run it over the top, and once we paint this and sand it, it's gonna look like it's brand new. The one piece that I'm really excited about though is actually the gauge cluster. Everything that we needed to be super strong and bonded well, guess what? We got that. The only thing that I'm kind of bummed out about, I actually broke the top of it. So that's just one more thing that I need to repair. But other than that, for the preliminary stages of where we're at, I couldn't be happier, and everything's going just fine. I actually picked up a couple of other parts that are going to be going on the car. Picked up a new turbo. That's a surprise. I'm not going to let you know what it is just yet. But it's not crazy horsepower, but we're going for a response on this 1J build, and I think you're going to like it. I'm also going to be ordering some, I'll tell you what injectors I'm ordering. The Injector Dynamic 1050Xs. I've read a lot of great things about them. Seem awesome. So we're going to do those guys, and we're going to do a future fab manifold, so you might be able to guess what we're going to run in terms of turbos, and we're going to be picking up a Walbro fuel pump. All right, so I know that was a lot. That was one big breath. I did find a guy that is remanufacturing RX-7 parts and 3D printing them. So if all of this stuff doesn't work, I'm gonna hit that guy up and have him make me some parts. So, and the reason why is because we want this thing to actually look like a car again. So, I'm gonna get inside and do a little bit of cleanup because the formal dining room is an absolute mess. But hope you guys like, subscribe, and if you have any comments or questions, guess what? Do it down below and I'll be more than happy to answer them. All right guys, see you later.